Hey, how you guys doing? What's going on? Welcome to the channel. I got a video and it's talking about Young Thug, and they are saying that he's involved with Masons and he's involved with some demonic dark stuff. Like, you guys need to check this video out. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe here. And if you guys want me to do more reactions to these type of videos of the industry, elites and people that's in the industry that's involved in a lot of darkness, let me know. Press 22 and I will try my best to react to more of these videos exposing this type of stuff. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe, and let's hear what they have to say, okay?
Young Thug has been relatively quiet since he was released from jail. While he has been popping up in several places and doing interviews here and there, he hasn't been as present as most people would expect him to be after escaping life in prison. Recently though, Young Thug was dragged into headlines for something most people didn't expect. While Thug was enjoying his freedom, his past finally seemed to catch up to him. Just a few days ago, old footage of Thug in an interrogation room leaked online where he was saying a bit too much. Now, the entire internet is calling him a snitch and a hypocrite. But I'm not here to talk to you guys about snitching allegations. I wanted to talk about the coded message Thug hid in his new upcoming album. One thing I found interesting about these snitching allegations was the timing of all of it. All of this just so happens to be going down as Thug is preparing to release his new album named UI Scuddy. Thug's new album is set to drop on October 17, 2025. Now, I clearly don't think these snitching allegations are a form of marketing. Why would Thug paint himself as a snitch? But I do feel that there's way more to all of this. I started looking deeper into Thug's album cover to see what I can find, and what I found was a rabbit hole that was so deep that ties Thug's trial to not only his new album, but even possibly these snitching allegations. Thug's new album is full of hidden coded references that once I broke it all down, I knew I had to tell you guys. Hey guys, I hope all is well. Welcome back to The Truth Is, where I drop new videos exposing the truth weekly. In today's episode, we will be talking about Young Thug's new album, UI Scuddy. But before we begin, I just wanted to let my Patreon members know I am finishing up on a new Patreon exclusive that will drop in the next few days. So if you're one of my members, make sure to be on the lookout for that video. If you're not a member, what are you waiting for? Join the truth movement and help me spread the truth. For $3 a month, not only will you be further supporting the channel, but you would also get access to over 50 exclusive Patreon videos that are not available here on YouTube. If you would like to join, you can find the link in the description and in the comment section. I want to thank you all. Now, let's get right into it. Currently, Young Thug is facing a second trial. While Thug was able to take a plea deal and avoid the consequences of his crimes during his criminal RICO trial, he now seems to be going through another trial with the world finding him guilty of being a snitch. Like I said earlier, I'm not here to talk about Thug's snitching allegations though. Even if it's extremely ironic that Thug claimed to disown Gunna for taking a plea deal and snitching, while he himself took a plea deal and is now being accused of talking to the police in a past interrogation. It seems that Young Thug isn't what he seems to be. Those who have been watching this channel for years know that I already exposed the truth about Thug. All the way back in 2022, I told my subscribers that this entire arrest would end in Young Thug being freed. Now, obviously, this is what ended up happening after Young Thug took a plea deal and was sent home. Even though Thug was facing life for being the leader of a violent street gang that committed all types of crimes including murder, the prosecution offered Thug a plea deal that allowed him to avoid prison time and set him free. Very unusual, as usually people that face criminal charges like the ones Thug was facing aren't given plea deals that allow them to avoid prison time. Thug was initially charged with RICO conspiracy, gang activity, drug, and gun charges. He was accused of leading a criminal street gang called YSL, which prosecutors allege was involved in violent crimes like murder, armed robbery, and even carjacking. He also faced charges relating to drug and gun possession. He was facing a maximum of 45 years in prison, basically life, but he would get nowhere near that amount of time after pleading guilty, which, when you consider the fact that he pleaded guilty to conspiracy to violate the RICO Act, participation in criminal street gang activity, violations of the Georgia Controlled Substance Act, and possessions of a firearm during the commission of a felony, It doesn't make any sense. Thug instead got time served and 15 years of probation. Basically a slap on the wrist when you realize he was being accused of being a gang leader who ordered murders. Specifically, he was accused of ordering the murder of Rich Homie Quan's manager Big Nut. I'm no lawyer, but I asked Google's AI how much time people usually get for pleading guilty to the crimes Thug pleaded guilty to. It even said that he would have faced significant prison time, not just probation. AI said this: with the typical plea deal outcomes given the severe nature of the original charges, a plea deal would likely still involve significant prison time and probation. But somehow, Young Thug got special treatment. You can blame it on a horrible job done by the prosecution, or blame it on him being rich and having powerful lawyers with connections. But knowing what I know, I believe is something much more sinister behind him being freed, and it connects directly to his new album. I believe that it might even connect to these snitching allegations, but we will get more into that later in this video. Young Thug's new album is called UI Scuddy. For those who don't know what this means, it is in reference to the red hypergiant star located in the Scutum constellation. It is one of the largest stars, being reported that it is 1700 times bigger than the sun. Now, Thug previewed 2 album covers for this album. Today, we will be focusing on his alternative album cover that shows this image here. This image is a representation of the birth, death, and rebirth cycle that all of this ties into. Now, in order to see the coded message hidden in Thug's new album cover, you must first understand who he truly is and what he's a part of. Those of you who are veteran truth seekers that have watched me since 2021 should already know this. But for those of you who are new here or never watched my content on Young Thug, let me break this down real quick for you. Now, I want to make it clear that what I'm about to say isn't a conspiracy theory. This is a fact, and I can say this confidently. Young Thug isn't just a street rapper. He is actually a part of the oldest and most connected secret society in America, the Freemasons. Now, I'm not saying this purely off imagery or hand gestures, even though there is a lot of that. I'm stating this because he has not only admitted it openly out of his own mouth, but also there are plenty of photos of Thug at a Masonic lodge showing his alliance. Years ago, I saw these pictures online of Thug and his crew inside of a Prince Hall Freemason lodge. For those who don't know, the Prince Hall Masonic Lodge is a branch of Masonry that was initially created for black men and other minorities, as standard Masonry for a very long time didn't allow black or other men of color to join. I was able to trace these photos back to an Instagram page called Exodus Free Society that belongs to a Prince Hall Freemason member. These photos showed Thug attending a Prince Hall lodge and becoming a Master Mason, with the photos upload dating back to August 21st, 2016. In these photos, Thug could be seen holding a Freemason certificate, doing hidden hand gestures with other members, and showing his alliance. The post had this caption: "Special congratulations going out from the brothers of the Sons of Mount Sion Lodge number 7, our newly made brothers Master Mason Thugger Thugger 1 and Little Duke 60, an honor well deserved and worthy of these 2 noble brothers in welcoming them into the craft all over the globe." This post was letting us know that on August 21st, 2016, Young Thug and his friend Little Duke both became Master Masons. If this isn't enough proof for you, Young Thug himself even admitted that he's a Mason who beats all his cases in this video.
I'm a Mason. I beat all my cases. I'm a Mason. I beat all my cases.
I'm a Mason. All my case.
Young Thug hasn't hidden his ties to the Freemasons. He has flooded his music videos with Masonic imagery. For example, in Thug's video for Up featuring Lil Uzi Vert, Young Thug utilizes several symbols associated with the occult and Freemasonry. In the video, we can find the one-eye symbolism when the camera zooms into Thug's eye. This symbolism connects back to the Eye of Horus, otherwise known as the All-Seeing Eye. He also shows the checkerboard floor, a symbol Masons commonly use to symbolize duality. The checkerboard floor could also be found at every Masonic lodge, which to me indicates that this was supposed to represent a Masonic lodge. He also depicts the owl, which is a symbol of knowledge, enlightenment, and seeing in the dark. Also, a woman wearing horns that represents the Baphomet imagery. This video was released back in 2018, less than 2 years after Thug became a Master Mason. This is why this music video is full of Masonic symbols. Now, one thing that all Freemasons do as they go up in degrees is participate in ceremonial esoteric rituals, with one of the main rituals Masons perform being the Death and Rebirth ritual. This ritual is supposed to represent the moment a Mason kills off their current self, symbolically dies, and finds enlightenment and then is resurrected. This is called the death and rebirth ritual. It's a cycle of 3 that represents birth, death, and rebirth. When a Freemason joins a lodge, they have to go through the first 3 degrees, which represent this death and rebirth. The 3rd degree represents the process of this death and rebirth ritual, when a Mason becomes an official 3rd degree Master Mason. Now, this isn't the top of Masonry, but the beginning. Becoming a Master Mason allows you to go through the higher degrees. During the 3rd degree, the candidate is symbolically killed, where in death or in the darkness, they discover the hidden information or what is lost, meaning they find enlightenment. Once they find that enlightenment, they are then resurrected or reborn as a new godly enlightened version of themselves. This is not only what Thug's new album is about, but his entire arrest and everything that is going on with him now. It was all a ritual. This is something Young Thug let us know before he went to jail. Some of you might remember that not long before Thug was arrested, he started promoting an upcoming album he claimed he was working on. This was the album cover, a picture of Young Thug covered in blood. This album cover was supposed to represent the start of the death and rebirth ritual, showing his symbolic birth and death. When we are born, we are often covered in our mother's blood. We are also born clueless or without knowledge, and we have to learn. This album cover represents that initial birth. When he eventually went to jail, this was the 2nd phase of the ritual, and it represents finding the knowledge while in death. In the occult, prison is often seen as the darkness, isolation that leads to finding enlightenment. This is how it's described. A prison represents the mundane world, or the limited consciousness from which the soul seeks to escape through the process of spiritual death and rebirth. It is a powerful metaphor for spiritual entrapment and the necessary self-destruction of the ego to achieve true liberation. In the Buddhist religion, the concept of samsara is a cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, driven by karma. Occult and esoteric interpretations equate this relentless cycle of reincarnation with a spiritual prison, or the prison of samsara, from which the soul seeks to escape through enlightenment. When Thug was released from prison, he was reborn. A new enlightened Young Thug rose from the ashes. His entire arrest was a part of this ritual, and he basically confirms this by using the UI Scuddy imagery for his new album. This UI Scuddy star is depicting this birth, death, and rebirth. On the album cover, we see the UI Scuddy star with 3 strange images on it. The first image represents the birth, the second the death, and the third the rebirth. Now, when we go deeper into the symbology of the UI Scuddy star, we discover more that proves this connection. Young Thug named his album UI Scuddy after a red supergiant star, one of the largest known stars in the universe. He revealed the title through a series of cryptic social media posts and the use of jerseys featuring the name, with the title also representing a major turning point as he resumed his music career after being released from prison. The important part of this statement is the major turning point and his new music after being released from jail. Now, in the occult, UI Scuddy has a deep significance. In the occult, the UI Scuddy star represents symbolic destruction, rebirth, or cosmic gateways. Occultists interpret its immense size, fiery red glow, and position in the sky as symbols for the trilogy ritual. Since red supergiants eventually collapse in supernova, occultists sometimes connect them with themes of apocalypse, transformation, and divine fire. Red supergiants like the UI Scuddy are sometimes called cosmic furnaces in esoteric traditions. They embody creation and destruction, and it also represents as above, so below. Their life cycle mirrors human occult initiations, like the death of the ego and the rebirth into higher knowledge. UI Scuddy is often used in end-time theories as a celestial warning sign or a marker of coming global transformation, which is exactly why Thug is using it. The UI Scuddy sits in the constellation Scutum, Latin for shield. In the occult, shields often symbolize protection, defense against unseen forces, and spiritual warfare. Some esoteric writers tie Scutum to the idea of a cosmic shield between order and chaos, which makes UI Scuddy the most powerful star in the constellation, and symbolically important as the heart or fire of that shield. In Masonry, the shield of Scutum has a significant purpose. Masons claim the shield protects hidden truths. In the sky, Scutum literally shields UI Scuddy. It's also a reminder that even the mightiest star, man, or empire must fall. This ties to the alchemist's death and rebirth cycles, better known as Solve et Coagula, which is seen on the Baphomet, and it also connects to the Masonic initiation. One must symbolically die to be remade into higher knowledge. Scudam as the shield represents the final barrier an initiate must pass through before enlightenment, a cosmic trial by fire. Just like Young Thug went through before this album, Young Thug's trial was the final process of the ritual before being reborn as an enlightened being. His album cover through a cold Masonic lens represents Scudam, the Cosmic Lodge shield, UI Scuddy, the blazing star within the shield, representing the idea that the ultimate truth is both shielded and revealed through destruction and rebirth, which is the supernova cycle. The album cover and title is letting us know that he is reborn, and he himself is UI Scuddy, the supernova star. He is telling us that he has achieved enlightenment. Now you may be thinking that all of this is crazy, because why would he put himself in jail and go through all that? Well, he did it because he had no choice. This was his path he chose when he joined the Freemasons. Plus, the Freemasons run the justice system. They're the ones truly pulling the strings. Most powerful judges are Masons, and most high-ranking law enforcement are also a part of it. This was all orchestrated for Thug to go through this ritual. This is why at the end, with all the proof they had against him, he escaped life in prison. Now this isn't meant for the average person to understand, but essentially Young Thug did all of this as a ritual, and he now believes he is a transcended god. Now what's interesting is that this album is set to drop in October, with headlines already claiming that Young Thug will address these snitching allegations in his new album. I wouldn't be surprised if this is all a part of this album ritual. One thing is for sure, Thug is a Freemason puppet who now believes he has transcended into a literal god.